Hey guys, it's me, the crazy mind behind my crazy life, and tomorrow, well, technically today, because I'm recording this at 1 in the morning, I will be seeing Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, which I still think it should have been called Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, because, the comics are called that. The ones with Harley Quinn in them, they're called Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. That would have worked better, but, whatever. It's still a cool, fancy title. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy. I'm not having a good day right now. I was on my grandma's floor, and she happens to own a cat, so, that's not good. But anyway, Birds of Prey is the first R-rated DCEU movie, and the DCEU is usually PG-13 with Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad because they're marketable, for kids, although Suicide Squad wasn't really that marketable for children, but whatever. But it's rated R, which is cool because, sometimes you gotta let Harley Quinn. This is Harley Quinn's movie, so you should let Harley Quinn have time to be, Harley Quinn. I still think the Harley Quinn show would probably be much better than this movie. I'm already setting my expectations right there because there's no way this movie is going to be better than the Harley Quinn show. I'm sorry, it's impossible. The Harley Quinn show is amazing. But like I was saying, it's rated R. And we just recently had an R-rated DC movie. Not in the main universe, of course, but like a separate story, and that was Joker. And you know what? That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Joker. I think I haven't talked about it. I posted a lot of videos about Joker, like little edits, stuff like that. I've shared my opinion in the comic sections of my own videos, but I haven't made a video about Joker. You know what? I think I'm going to make it one today. So, topic of today's video is Joker, and I think Joker is art, and here's why. Joker tells the story of Arthur Fleck, a mentally ill loner played by the legendary Joaquin Phoenix, who is disregarded by the toxic society he lives in. He lives in a 1980s set Gotham, where the streets are filled with super rats, trash, and muggers who, for some reason, want to take his sign every time he's trying to do his job, because he's a clown for hire in a talent-booking place called Ha Ha's. He's a stand-up comedian wannabe, but he even fails at that. He takes care of his aching mother, Penny, who is played by Frances Conroy, who you may remember from American Horror Story. But she's hiding a secret from him about his past, about who his father is, and he may or may not be Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, Batman's dad, who gets shot in an alley, who happens to be running for mayor, who makes a Trump-like comment calling all poor residents of Gotham clowns, which starts a movement. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I've never been this freaking hyped for a movie in my entire life. I've been wanting a Joker movie to happen since I was 5 years old, because, let's face it, the Joker's my favorite villain of all time. I mean, look at me. I'm wearing a Joker shirt and everything. But I was really frustrated with the fact that SJWs and feminists wanted to destroy this movie because it's going to inspire real-life violence. And that's why Joker has a 69 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is insane. And it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. And, oh my gosh, it's just wow. And they still are, crapping on the movie. But the funny thing is, they love Birds of Prey. They love a movie about a woman who happens to get drunk and does cocaine in one scene and beats the crap and kills dudes and just goes all out crazy with the girl crew, and they have no problem with it. Keep in mind, they have no problem with this. But with Joker, a movie about a guy who kills nasty people who deserve what they get, and all of a sudden they say, oh, it's going to inspire school shooters. How come, are you not going to say that Harley Quinn is going to inspire girls to think that all guys are bad dudes and will break their kneecaps every time they say something? Don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with Birds of Prey. Frankly, I think it looks like a really fun movie. I think I'll have a good time when I see it. But I just think it's unfair and stupid that they are loving Birds of Prey, which doesn't look half as good as Joker, and yet they're crapping on Joker for being a movie about a mentally ill guy. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Joker doesn't glorify violence. It gives you a chance to sympathize with the person who eventually becomes the Joker. It lets you know how the Joker became the way he is. The Joker is, as you know, the Joker's a horrible person. And with Joker, it lets you get to know the person who became the Joker. It lets you sympathize with the person who would eventually become one of the most sadistic and evil and violent characters like ever. Like, this is the guy who blows up hospitals with people inside of it. This is the guy who would cripple your daughter. This is the guy who would beat your adopted child senselessly with a crowbar, only to have them blown up in a building after kidnapping them. Joker would kill anyone because, to him, death is just an elaborate joke. There's nothing meaningful in life. There's nothing meaningful in anyone else's life. Death is just something funny, and he kills because he wants to. He kills because he thinks it's funny. He will kill women, children, men, anyone. He does not care who you are. He will kill you. He'll kill babies, for God's sakes. And with Joker, it gives you a chance. And I think Todd Phillips does an amazing job. Oh my God. Oh, this is so bad. Todd Phillips does an amazing job giving you the chance of getting to know the person who would eventually become that guy. I mean, of course, you have Joaquin Phoenix carrying the whole movie with that. He's the heart and soul of that movie. His performance alone carries the movie. Not to say that the movie's bad without him, because who knows, you could have gotten Leonardo DiCaprio, who I still can't see. See, they were going to think about having Leonardo DiCaprio as the Joker, which I still can't see. I can see Leonardo DiCaprio as the Riddler, or as Two-Face, but not the Joker. Sorry. But anyway, who knows? You could have had somebody like Leonardo DiCaprio that would have carried the movie, but just Joaquin Phoenix, he killed it. He killed it as the Joker in this movie, and holy crap. It's a roller coaster ride. It's a lot to digest. And believe it or not, Arthur does become that guy by the end of the movie. That guy who will kill you just to kill you for no reason, because he thinks that death is funny. If you remember, one of Arthur's victims didn't wrong him anyway. Matter of fact, one of Arthur's victims was actually innocent, and that was his psychiatrist in this asylum scene. Unlike Deborah Kane, his social worker at the beginning of the movie, I feel like this psychiatrist actually cared about him. Or at least was genuinely interested about what he was thinking about. Take a little look at this the scene from the movie. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this. But let's take a little scene at the movie and listen to her tone of voice.
What's so funny? Do you want to tell it to me?
I mean, is it just me, or does she sound like she's, like, genuinely interested? She wants to know what Arthur's really laughing at. As with Deborah Kane, I think that was her name. I really don't remember. But, as with the social worker, I'll just call it the social worker. As with the social worker, she would just probably mistake it for another one of Arthur's, laughing panic attacks. Besides, also, his social worker didn't really, care about things either. I feel like she was just there, just to be there. If you remember when Arthur was talking to her about when he heard that super catchy song, My Name is Carnival, on the radio, and he was saying that, it's funny because his clown name was Carnival before he got fired, and he was saying that it felt like he didn't really exist, and then all she wanted to talk about was how they cut the funding, and she wasn't listening to him, and then he went off on her saying, hey, you never listen to me. All I have are negative thoughts, you never talk to me, I can never really make you hear me, can I? And then she just ignores it like it never happened, and she keeps talking about, oh yeah, they cut our funding, by the way. But also take a listen of her her tone of voice when Arthur was listening to her. It's almost as if she didn't have time for Arthur's nonsense. She was just there because she wanted to get paid. Compare her the psychiatrist's tone of voice at the end of the movie to the social worker's tone of voice at the beginning of the movie.
Have you been keeping up with your journal?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Did you bring it with you? Arthur, last time I asked you to bring your journal with you for these appointments. Can I see it?
See the difference? Where the psychiatrist sounded like she was genuinely interested, the social worker sounded like she didn't have time for Arthur's nonsense. She just wanted to get paid and then, have it over with. And he killed the psychiatrist for no reason. She didn't even do anything wrong. And that's how you know that Arthur's gone. There is no more Arthur Fleck. There's only Joker. And the Joker persona is completely taken over. And that's it. Arthur's gone forever. Society killed him. Oh, crap. I might have started up the "we live in society" crap. But you know what? I don't care at this point. Besides, there's also a little something cool that I would like to point out in Arthur's conversation with Murray on the Murray Franklin show. In this scene where Joker, or Arthur, or both in this situation, are talking to Murray on the Murray Franklin show, there are clues, there's a few little subtle hints that you can see that the Joker is really coming outside of him. Take a little look at this little clip from this bit.
This straight, you think that killing those guys is funny?
I do. And I'm tired of pretending it's not. Comedy is subjective, Murray. Isn't that what they say? All of you, the system that knows so much, you decide what's right or wrong the same way that you decide what's funny or not.
Notice how in that scene, Joker is talking about how the death of the 3 subway dudes were funny. How he thinks that their death is hilarious, which is something really jokery because, once again, Joker thinks that death is hilarious. But look at the next scene.
Come on, Murray. Do I look like the kind of clown that could start a movement? I killed those guys because they were awful. Everybody is awful these days. It's enough to make anyone crazy.
But in that scene, Arthur is talking, saying that he killed them not because their death would be funny, but because they were awful people, and how everybody is awful these days, and he wouldn't blame a person for going crazy because how awful people are. That's Arthur talking, and then he makes a joke about them dying, saying they couldn't carry a tune to save their lives because he was singing horribly. "Send in the Clowns" by Frank Sinatra, which also has the big songs, the movie's biggest song, "That's Life," in it. But also take a look at the next scene, which is to me one of the another really beautiful scene, and him just talking just feels so natural.
Oh, why is everybody so upset about these guys? If it was me dying on the sidewalk, you'd walk right over me. I pass you every day and you don't notice me. But these guys, what, because Thomas Wayne went and cried about them on TV?
Now, in that scene, it felt like a little bit of both to me. Number one, it felt a little bit like Joker, because Joker's trying to make a name for himself. He's trying to come out. He's coming out saying, "Hey guys, notice me." But it also seems a little bit like Arthur, because Arthur is tired of being looked over, and these guys get all the recognition, even though they were horrible people, because Thomas Wayne cried about them on TV. This is a modern cinematic masterpiece. To me, everything about this movie is perfect. Am I mad that Arthur wasn't Joker until, near the end of the movie? No. Am I mad that the movie isn't longer? No. Am I mad that Batman isn't in the movie, unless you count that little cameo with Bruce Wayne? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I'm glad Batman wasn't in this movie a lot. Am I upset that it's possible that all of it was in Arthur's head, that some of it's ambiguous? No. The Joker, after all, said that he prefers his backstory to be multiple choice. Am I mad that the movie isn't accurate? No. Of course I'm not mad. I mean, let's face it. They have taken chances with the Joker before. And with Heath Ledger, they tried taking chances with him, and he became one of the best Jokers out there. They tried taking chances with Jared Leto. and not so much. But they tried taking another chance with Joaquin Phoenix, trying to make him a different Joker, and it paid off. And he, don't want this completely controversial, I get it, but Joaquin Phoenix is my favorite Joker. He is so freaking good. Oh my god. And it's just, wow. It's wow. Amazing. If he does not win Best Actor at the Oscars, I'm gonna riot. Okay? I'm going to freaking riot. And I'm gonna burn down a building. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm getting mad thinking about Joaquin not winning an Oscar. I mean, come on. Really? Academy, please, give the award to him. He needs it. Alright, he's turned in amazing performances. You've nominated him before, and then you don't give it to him. You give it to somebody else, and frankly, I think that's bull. Am I mad that Arthur didn't have mentally ill tattooed on his forehead? Well, that one's kind of self-explanatory, so you don't really have to answer that one. Joker has amazing acting. From Robert De Niro, to Zazie Beetz, to freaking forget them. Joaquin Phoenix. Not to say that they're bad, because they're not, they're great, but Joaquin Phoenix, the man's a legend, okay? And he really makes you feel as if you're with him as the movie carries, like you're right by him as the movie carries on. You feel for him, you feel his character, you feel his struggles that he goes through, and it just feels so real. It's unlike any comic book movie I've ever seen. It's really something special. Another thing that people like to, hate on Joker for is that it's a remake of Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy, which is bullcrap because, no, they're not. Yeah, Joker happens to pay a few homages, but it's not a remake. Yeah, okay, so Joker blends the lines between fantasy and reality while also wanting to be a stand-up comedian wannabe like Rupert Pupkin. He is a mentally ill loner, disregarded by society, who goes crazy and starts killing people like Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver. But does that mean that it's a remake? No, it means that there's similarities, but not a remake. Here's another great thing about this movie. A friend of mine at school doesn't really like the Joker movie because it makes him, he says that, quote, it makes him look like an anti-hero. But me and another friend of mine at the same school, that we both told him, no, we still feel like Arthur is a villain. And the funny thing is, he is a villain. He's still the Joker. He is still a villain. He does some crazy things in the movie, and although, yes, most of the people he kills are nasty people, and they deserve what they get, the movie doesn't really necessarily ask you to they ask you to sympathize with him, but they don't ask you to forgive him for what he's done. Should Arthur have pulled out a gun and killed the dudes on the subway? Well, yes and no. Yes, because they were literally beating the living crap out of him for no reason. He didn't do anything wrong. He has a condition where he laughs uncontrollably, and instead of hearing him out when he was saying, I have a condition, they took his stuff and started beating him up. And when he tried to kick free, they started, kicking on him. And then he pulled out a gun and killed the first two in self-defense. But then he chased down the third guy. He shot the third guy in the leg, and because he was still alive, instead of leaving him alone, he hunted him down and emptied his gun on him in cold blood. Now, ask yourself, should Arthur have done that? Well, easy answer would be, yes, he should have, because if he didn't, then, well, he would have gotten caught, the guy would have still been alive, he would have told the police, plus he also deserves that because he was one of the guys who had jumped in mercilessly. But think about it. He already shot him. He killed his other friends, and then he shot him. So he already got his karma, but now he's killing him in cold blood. He literally hunted him down. He killed him in cold blood. Okay, here's another thing. Should Arthur have killed his mom? His mom is the reason why he has the condition. He's the reason why people think he's a freak and people treat him like crap is because that laughing condition, and she's the reason behind it. Now, granted, yes, that's really messed up on her part. I know has narcissistic personality disorder, and she doesn't really care about anybody but herself because she's a narcissist, has narcissistic personality disorder, and she can't help it. It's a mental illness, but she's still, like, it's just, like, messed up, okay? Okay, you know what? I take it back. It's a part of her mental illness, yes, but it's still messed up of her to, like, just let her son be abused like that. Like, that's not good. So, yeah, but should he have killed her? No. That's not... Arthur shouldn't have killed her, because although, yeah, she's the reasoning behind Arthur's laughter, it was part of her mental illness. He can't just kill her for that. What about Randall? Randall set him up with the gun and got him fired. Randall's corrupt, and he's a total a-hole. And you know what? He deserves everything that comes to him. But should Arthur have stabbed him in the face and the neck and bashed his head in the wall 10 times? Yeah, I've seen the movie about 23 times. I counted how many times he bashed his head in the wall. Should he have done that? When we think about it, yeah, he deserves that. He deserves to die. He was a total jerk, and he ruined his life. He ruined Arthur's life by getting his job taken away from him, and he should have lost his job instead of him, and he deserves every karma that he gets. But should Arthur have done that? No. What about Murray? Murray ridiculed him and made fun of him on TV. And keep in mind, Murray is Arthur's idol, and he makes fun of him and mocks him on live television just for ratings, just for views, just for, like, giggles and stuff like that. Yeah, Murray's a jerk. He deserves literally anything that comes towards him. But should have Arthur pulled out a gun and blew his brains out on live television in front of a studio audience? No. And this ties in to Arthur's / Joker's final punchline, to where Joker cuts all ties with Arthur. He cuts all ties with Arthur by killing Murray. Murray was the only thing that was connected to Arthur, and now that Murray's gone, Arthur technically is kind of gone too. That's all. Think about it. He killed Randall, and he considered Randall a friend, even though Randall wasn't. He killed his mom, and Arthur really cared about his mom, even though his mom was the reason why he had the laugh. And then he kills Murray, who was his idol. So he cuts all ties with Arthur. So I'm going to say Joker's final punchline. When he says, what do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get what you effing deserve. All of that ties in with that joke. That joke. You get what you effing deserve. You think you know that that's what they deserve, okay? Murray was a jerk and ridiculed Arthur while he was in the hospital with his dying mother. While this is happening, Murray's, well, you should have listened to your mother. Hey, you could say that again, pal. Yeah, he deserves to die. He's an a-hole. That wasn't cool of him. And he deserves to, die. Well, you could say that, but then again, he doesn't. Although he's a jerk, he doesn't. He deserves karma, but that doesn't mean Arthur should have killed him like that. Randall deserves karma. He effing deserves karma. You get what you effing deserve? He deserves his karma. Does that mean that Arthur should have taken scissors and stabbed him and bashed his head into the wall? No. Okay? That third subway guy, he should have gotten what he effing deserves. Which was, first in self-defense, turned into cold blood. He got what he deserved. But just because he deserved it doesn't mean Arthur needed to make it happen. That's like, let's say that you're in school and you're being bullied by a school bully. Does that mean you should take out a gun and shoot him? Well, or her? Well, I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this anymore because I just said that Arthur was doing it in self-defense, but that's different, okay? This is a school bully that takes your lunch money, pushes you around, calls you names, stuff like that. Or sometimes you can even put your hands on you, like push you a little bit. Does that mean you should take out a gun and shoot him in the face? No. Do you think he deserves? Do you know that he deserves that? Do you think that you know that he or she deserves that? Yes, you feel it. That person is horrible and they deserve to get their karma. But does that mean you should take a gun out and shoot them in the face? No, it doesn't. Okay? Arthur does these things and gives people their karma, but he shouldn't have done it anyway because it's still wrong. And the movie doesn't ask you to forgive him for doing these things. And although you can look at it and say, oh, well, that makes Arthur an anti-hero. Well, not really. You see, Arthur kills people, nasty people, who have wronged him in some way or form. Except for his last victim, the psychiatrist, that's how you know that Arthur's gone. There's only Joker. I already said that. So Arthur's technically not an anti-hero. And really, anti-heroes, like, kill, like, people, like, bad people, but really, Arthur didn't kill, like, bad people. He killed, like, nasty people, like, mean people. The only bad people he killed were the subway people. Other than that, Randall wasn't, like, bad. Well, he was bad, but, like, he wasn't, if Arthur didn't start laughing like a crazy person, he was gonna rape a girl. Bad. Like, those dudes, like, if you could take it into a whole direction, if Arthur didn't start crazy laughing and she didn't move to another subway car, like, those dudes could have sexually abused her, like, throwing fries at her, flirting with her, hey, and they were drunk, they were clearly drunk, they could have, like, sexually abused her. That's, like, bad. Randall, he just, framed Arthur for, bringing a gun to the kid's hospital, but those are, like, the only bad people. Randall was, like, a bad guy, but he was, like, more of, like, a jerk than, like, a bad guy, like the 3 subway guys. He was a jerk, and his mother, he saw, was a jerk, and she was the reason why he was doing this. Murray was a jerk. Not a bad guy, a jerk. He kills people who wronged him, not the corrupt, not evil people, not bad people like an anti-hero would do. He killed mean people who he thinks would get what they effing deserve. See what I mean? Ooh, and let's talk about that laugh. That chilling laugh. You either have, like, the laugh where he sounds like he's in pain and he's choking, and then you also have the laugh where he's trying to fit in. Like the laugh where he was laughing when they were making fun of Gary. He'd always do that little high-pitched laugh. He's like, like the little high-pitched laugh. I mean, it's just a lot. And, like, the sad thing is that you see the pain in his eyes, and he wants to cry, but every time he cries, he starts laughing. I remember, like, the movie has some very painful to watch moments, but to me, by far, the most, like, painful moment for me was, the part that always makes me, like, my throat feel tight, like, kind of makes me want to tear up a little bit, is the part where he finds out he's adopted, and how he was abused as a kid, and he was starved, and he was beaten by, Penny's boyfriends, and how, he was possibly, molested and tied to a radiator and beaten senselessly by, Penny's boyfriends, and he would read all of this stuff, and, like, his whole life, he thought he was Penny's son, and he was trying to prove, hey, Thomas Wayne is my father, so I need to go get the medical records, but he also said that I'm adopted, so what am I going to do? So that he read the records, and he's finding out all this stuff, he's like, and then it turns out when he's reading it, he starts crying, and he's broken, but he's like, and you hear, like, this, Hildur Gluten, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she is a genius for making this score. I mean, the score is another big part of this movie. I mean, holy crap, it is chilling. It is amazing. You have that chilling score in the back as he's laughing, and he's choking on his laughter, and he's, like, feels so bad, but he's just laughing, and he's crying, and it's heartbreaking to see all of this, and then this is, like, a new low for this scene, is, like, a new low for Arthur. He doesn't have an identity anymore. He's not Arthur Fleck, he's not Arthur Wayne, he's unknown adopted child. Unknown, abandoned, adopted child, which kind of fits into with the Joker. The Joker, technically, we know him as Arthur Fleck, but he's really not Arthur Fleck. That's not who he is. Arthur Fleck is just some name that Penny made up. that she used because when she adopted him. And really, the real Joker, doesn't have a name. And so, there's so much about Arthur that is so much like the Joker, where he's known as Arthur, but that's really not who he is. He doesn't have an identity like the actual Joker, and I see Arthur as the actual Joker, and it upsets me every time they like to throw little subtle hints. Oh, maybe he's the inspiration for Joker. Okay, WB, listen up. Okay? Cut the... This isn't Gotham. You don't have to suffer from rights, okay? This isn't Gotham. This is the mainstream. This is mainstream movies. He is Joker. Todd Phillips, he is Joker. He is no one else. He is not the inspiration. He is not anything. He is the Joker. He is the Joker. Somewhere in my heart, I believe that Arthur Fleck will one day fight Batman. Maybe not on screen, and you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him not fighting Batman on screen. But I feel like he will be that guy. Okay? So let's cut that crap, that bull crap. Just leave it at the door. Okay? He's the Joker. No more of this subtle hint saying, oh, maybe he's just some guy telling the story of the Joker, who is an idea, an ideology, who will be an inspiration to many people to take on his legacy. No. No. This is the Joker. I do not care. WB. This dude, this cigarette chain-smoking clown man. This is the Joker. I do not care what you say. He is the Joker. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way. The cinematography is another big thing for this movie. It's really just a big part of the movie. I mean, every shot of this movie is like a painting come to life. Heck, that little moment in the trailer and in the movie when he says, when you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? And then Murray and Jean, Murray and Jean look at each other for like a sharp second, like confused. Even that looks like a painting comes to life. Lawrence Sher, you did an amazing job with the cinematography. I already talked about Hilder's score, his cinematography. I already talked about Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix. Everything about this movie is just so good. The pacing is like a slow burn where it starts up, it starts rising, and then oh crap, nope, it's all over the place now. It's overflowing. It's like this slow burn that's suddenly it just pops and it's all over the place. It is so this movie's art, okay? Martin Scorsese made a little comment saying that comic book movies aren't art. Well, I say, check out this movie. This is art. This is art. It's not a ripoff of Taxi Driver. You know what? Forget it. You know what? No, screw you. If you think that Joker is a movie that inspires violence, you're an idiot. Deadpool didn't inspire violence, did it? Huh? Did John Wick inspire violence? Does Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, did that inspire? Is that gonna inspire violence? Yeah, I bet not, huh? So why does this one? Go ahead, I'll wait. Exactly. You don't have any reasons? Exactly. This movie does not glorify violence. It makes you sympathize with someone who you get to know why they are the way they are now. This movie doesn't, idolize the Joker. This movie has the one point that says that villains are people too. And you know what? I love it for that. I love it. I think the Joker is a masterpiece. Bite me. I think Joker's a masterpiece. Everything about it is just perfect. Not because it's something that we haven't seen before, because granted, yes, it's revolutionary for comic book movies, but not for movies. I mean, we've seen movies where guy seemingly who means well at first goes crazy and starts on a rampage going killing people with movies like Taxi Driver and Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, which, by the way, if you haven't seen Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, stop wasting your time watching this video. Go on Netflix and watch Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It's amazing. It's a musical. It's my favorite musical ever. It's so good. It has Johnny Depp in it. It's made by Tim Burton. It's super bloody. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my god. Like, this movie's really good. Just go watch it. Sorry, this got a little off topic. It's supposed to be about the Joker. Not because it's a DC movie with the Joker in it, because then that would be saying that Suicide Squad is a cinematic masterpiece. And, well, you know, it's not. Not because it's an R-rated superhero movie not for kids, or comic book movie not for kids, because, you know, before Joker, you had your Deadpool, you had your Logan, you had your Watchmen, so, you know, Joker's not the first, and thank God, because of it, it's definitely not going to be the last. Not because it's a DC solo movie about a Batman villain, the solo movie just about a Batman villain, because believe it or not, Joker's not the first solo Batman villain movie that we got. The first solo Batman villain movie that we got is actually 2004's Catwoman. And we all know how that one turned out. Not because of good acting, but let's face it, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix gave the best performance I've seen in a freaking movie, like, ever. And, you know, Joaquin Phoenix is known for giving amazing performances. But this, freaking amazing. Not because of the story, because, you know, it's nothing new when it comes to a movie. We've seen, you know, this, like, kind of story play out before. Really, I just love this movie because it manages to say something. It takes DC's most iconic villain, who's been portrayed in many variations, from silly, goofy prankster to evil, sadistic psychopath, and puts him in a real-world environment where it feels real. There's nothing about Joker that doesn't feel real. With the Joker around, not all comic book movies have to be for kids. Not all comic book movies have the good guys winning, bad guys lose. Not all comic book movies can deal with real life issues like depression and suicidal thoughts and mental illness. Because of Joker, it really bends what a comic book movie can be. And, you know, because of that, whether you like Joker or not, it's a miracle, and you know it. And because I'm a dumb 12-year-old who doesn't know anything about cinema and the art of film, yes, I do think Joker is the best film of all time. It's amazing, and I don't think I will ever see a movie better than Joker, nor will I ever be hyped for a movie more than Joker, okay? The new Batman movie, there's so many things that sound amazing about it. I mean, a gritty noir detective movie, maybe rated R, the casting's on point, it's gonna be like the Batman animated series, and it's gonna be like a detective movie. Riddler might be the Moriarty, Batman's Detective Holmes. It's just like, it sounds great, but am I gonna be as hyped as I was for Joker? Heck no, what are you, crazy? But you know what? Who cares, okay? Yes, Joker is the best film of all time. I think it is. I don't care. Bite me. Who cares? I think it's the best movie of all time. And if you don't like it, well, you're an idiot. So, well, I think I'm done talking about this amazing movie now that I have been recording for, like, over 2 hours now. So, you know, this is where we part ways, friends. Follow me on Instagram at mr.jwashere. It'll show up as Gotham's Joker, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.